Hello?
Fred, we asked the players, are you ready to get this thing started? They're anxious. How about you as a coach with the season getting ready to go?
I am. I'm excited to get going. You get into a very torrid pace the second it's go time. And, go time to me started yesterday. And we had another good practice today. Then Wednesday, the first game, and then it's a sprint to April, kind of.
Has there been any decision on backup point guard or anything like that?
In my mind, I'm going through it, and I feel, comfortable with what I'm going to do. Declaring what that is, I won't. But I'm thinking that we're in a pretty good place, and studied it a lot.
You've done this a long time. You mentioned go time and stuff like that. Do you feel something click inside of you as you get ready for that opening game? You know what's coming up, the ups and downs. So can you feel like a change almost in yourself?
I can, and I'm very sort of seasonal. Us on the East Coast, we know when it's football season, right? You understand that something just happened. It's fall. And, my whole life, I was the son of a coach. I grew up in a basketball family. As, fall starts in and starts moving forward, you just go by the clock, the field, the weather. And it's basketball. And I know it internally. I do feel it. I understand the rhythm of the 12 months. And it's time to get going.
Are you still in 10 chunk mode with the schedule? Do you still do that as much as you did?
I don't. The 10-game clumps were completely driven on how do I take a bunch of young guys that aren't going to win games and manage smaller chunks. And so my first 3-4 years, it was a 10-game period that we set goals, we talked about it, and it enabled me, and especially looking in the rearview mirror, to hold on to the group, to motivate the group, to not feel like it's just overwhelming 82 games and we are having a hard time winning. And so that served me well for a long time. And I go into thirds now. I look at start of the year to Christmas, Christmas to All-Star break run home. That's how I think, that's how I talk to my team. And I think with a more senior team, a veteran team, a team that, the expectations, the talent level, all that stuff is different than my first few years. That works better for me too. And I know what I want to get done personally as a coach, implementing stuff in the program in the first third. And once we sort of get that, you sort of master and move. And we want to master sort of vanilla that first third, and then we can, get into the other flavors later.
Have you started looking at Boston, and if so, have you looked more at the preseason than maybe you normally would with Kemba there and having not been there before?
I always follow teams that we're playing in preseason, so I'm not sort of in scouting mode yesterday. I've been in scouting mode looking at Boston since it all began, since preseason began. And so you play the what if game, what do you expect? And, I think that we prepared a lot and talked a lot about small ball. If they just roll out tiny players, what are we going to do? If they sit in a zone, matchup zone, what are we going to do? If they double team Joel all the time on every catch, on the dribble, the pass, whatever, what are we going to do? And you just try to make sure that we're equipped to handle where other people may think we're weak or want to exploit. And I just named 3 areas. And so we've been on top of it, trying to just make sure that, you're not caught off guard as best you can while implementing a simple system initially.
What are your expectations for Joel compared to season openers in years past? Where is he at? How close to his potential do you think you've seen so far, and what do you expect out of him this year?
I think he's going to have a year that puts us in a position to win a championship. You know, we all understand, and I've said this publicly, I want to help him define his legacy. I feel a tremendous responsibility to help him define his legacy. And legacies start with championships. And I didn't take an S off that word on purpose. It's championships. And I feel a role and a responsibility to help him. You know, and him owning the paint is as good a place to start as any. It's where my mind has been centered all summer. It's the messaging that we have discussed as a team and with him. We've admitted we're huge. What does that look like? What can we do to, you know, exploit our team? And with Joel especially, to your point, I think he's going to have a fantastic season. He's come into camp, and what I've seen in preseason, the best that he's ever been with me at this part of the calendar. And, you know, I'm just really excited to help him improve and grow and lead us to the areas that I just spoke of.
We've seen flashes of that, you know, games where he's really dominated down low, back of the basket, almost Shaq-like impact on the game. A couple years ago, I think the Lakers game out west. Do you think, are you pretty confident we're going to see more of that this season?
I think that this is what I don't think it, I know it. When you look at him, he is a unicorn. When we say, like, who is Joel Embiid like, or who is like Joel Embiid? Joel can score in a variety of ways. And so, like, is he Shaq? He got a little bit of that in him. You know, is he Arvydas Sabonis? Like, that was a pretty multi-dimensional player. Is he Hakeem? You know, Duncan was a good low post player and could step out like at the elbow or foul line and make a jump shot. And so when you start like trying to put him in a box and say this is all you are, it's a huge naive mistake. It's a really naive mistake. Where is he at his best? We get where it is, and like we have to center our gravity more in that area of where it is, and you know, I think it's going to equal free throws and kickouts and all that. But to think like that's the only floor spot he lives is really recklessly naive. And so, you know, you go Shaq, it's deeper than that. It really is deeper than that. And so it's on me as his coach and on him to better understand how do I best impact the game, help this team win championships, take off like I want to take off at the start of the year. And I think that we're on it. I think that we're on it. And I feel like it's going to live in a bunch of places, but it's stuff, all that stuff is the whole truth and nothing but the truth of what's most on my mind with Joel Embiid.
You've talked many times during the preseason.
I've talked about what?
You've said many times during the preseason that you guys have a sense that you can do something unique, and expectations are also high in this city. Do you feel that anticipation and excitement from the fan base leading into Wednesday?
I mean, I do. It's a long time coming. I'm so numb to so much nowadays. Like I've lived a privileged life here in Philadelphia. It's been very different. Every one of our periods together has been very different. But I feel like, you know, it's just an incremental increase in, you know, talent, and that with that comes expectation and privilege and responsibility, and you know, it's going. But it's early days, and I said, and I'll say it probably many times in front of you all, talent does not trump time. And like, what does that mean? I do. I feel like I know what it means. We've got to like stay sane. You know, we got to stay sane and like try to grow this thing where we can really feel responsible, where we've delivered something as perfect as we can make perfect in April 15th. And that's the excitement and responsibility I feel. Thank you.